What's going on, everybody? I can't believe it's been 2 years since the last time I recorded a video on investing in Philadelphia. So now I'm going to be recording another video for what it's like to have been invested in Philadelphia over the last couple of years and what you guys can look forward to in the next coming years. If you're interested in investing in Philadelphia, then this is going to be the video for you. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get right into it. Here is a map of the lovely Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. I'm going to be showing you guys different parts of the city to be mindful of while you're trying to pick out where you're going to be investing within Philadelphia. Alright, so let's do this from bottom up. So first we have Southwest. That's on the left side here. Southwest area, there are parts of it that are nice, but as a kind of big rule, Southwest isn't that nice of an area, but you can find properties for really low prices. Then next to it, you got South Philly. So South Philly, you would cut up into parts like this. These two sections here and here are the more expensive parts of South Philly, and then you got here and here. All of South Philly, for the most part, is pretty desirable. So no matter where you invest in South Philly, you're going to probably do pretty well. If you buy it at the right price, of course, that's always a caveat. And then over here, this is West Philly. Within West Philly, you got all the hospitals and university. You have the University of Penn, you have Drexel, you have the University of the Sciences. So all this area. So closer to here is the more expensive area. You got Powelton Village and things like that. And then let's just draw a line there. Maybe that line is, say, 50th Street, 52nd Street. So anything this way to the left of it, it's going to be a little cheaper. It can perform really, really well, right? And now let's talk about this section right here. Okay, so this is Center City, and then over here, this part, that's Old City. So Old City and Center City are probably the most expensive neighborhoods in Philadelphia. You also have Rittenhouse Square. This is your downtown area. So this is where all the big money live. This is where all the big money shops, all that kind of stuff. Things are kind of changing there. A lot of homelessness is in that area right now, so it's causing businesses to shut down, and there's a lot of vacancies. So we're going through a transitional period. You can see the same thing with Old City as well. Old City used to have a lot of bars and restaurants that were really popular, but if you go there now, it seems like a ghost town. So these are in transition right now. All right, next up, we have North Philly. Let's go North Philly. Let's go right here. Let's call that North Philly. Again, there's no exact science. There's a huge swath called North Philly, and there are parts of it that are really good, and then there are parts of it that are terrible. So then let's talk about, for a long time, this whole area right here, pretty terrible, and some would argue it is still pretty terrible. What's funny is right here, it's called Nice Town. When it has a name like Nice Town, it isn't so nice, okay? And then there's an area around here called Strawberry Mansion. Sounds so cute, so pretty. Terrible neighborhood as well. Things are happening in those areas though. People are investing there. Things are being built. So it may be changing, and in the future, Nice Town might actually be nice, and Strawberry Mansion might actually be this strawberry kind of area. But right now, buyer beware. Over here, you got Kensington, Port Richmond, Fishtown. This area, it's kind of like this block is full of people who are on drugs, and then on the next block, you have all new construction. So it's a very confusing place. A lot of bars, a lot of restaurants, nightclub kind of things are being built in this area. A lot of new construction, a lot of commercial stuff. So this area is being revitalized, and it's right next door to where all of the drug users are. There's a huge number. If you drive around, if you Google or YouTube search Kensington, Philadelphia, you will see what I'm talking about. It is terrible what happens to a person when they take drugs, and you will see it firsthand in this area. But at the same time, you will see a lot of development. All right, let's go back over here. You got the Fairmount Park area. So within the Fairmount Park area, if we hyper zoom in, I think it's right around here. Then you got the Art Museum area. That's where the Rocky Steps are that everybody knows about in Philadelphia. So it's a really nice neighborhood, really high priced real estate. There's a lot of condos there. So if you want scenic, that's where you want to be, in this little Art Museum area, Fairmount Park area. All right, let's jump around a little bit. Over here, we got your Roxborough, Manny Young, East Falls area, Chestnut Hill, really nice areas, a lot of development, a lot of apartment buildings being built there. There's also new storage facility being built there. Pretty cool. You got the Kelly Drive area. So a lot of good things happening around here. A lot of shopping used to happen in Manny Young. I mean, there's still a whole commercial strip strip on Main Street. This is a popular place for people to go to. It's still pretty busy, but at the same time, there's a lot of vacancies up and down that block too. So if you guys come visit Philadelphia, I would suggest you visit Manayunk and go to Main Street in Manayunk, but don't be surprised when you see about like 25% of the commercial units being vacant. So business goes in a few months later, a year later, whatever, and then they shut down, unfortunately. And that's just what's happening. And it's happening all over Philadelphia. All right, let's do this. Let's hop right in here. That's Germantown area. Germantown has pockets. You can go pretty far out, West Mount Airy and East Mount Airy and Germantown, and lump it all together, right? There are parts of it that are really nice, and then there are parts where the properties are falling down. And these properties are old. It seems like the oldest part of the city, and they're huge properties in this area. Hit or miss in terms of investment properties, because these big properties need a lot of work because they're so old, and when you factor in the purchase plus the rehab together, it's going to be hard to cash flow because you have so much invested. So hit or miss, block by block, but Germantown, notable exception. All right, let's go to the next part. Let's go towards the right side. Over here, we're just north of that Port Richmond, Kensington area. You got, some people call this it's like a transition. Okay, so I'll draw a line like this. Okay, so there's this part here that's North Philly, and then you got this interesting area that is where it transitions to this section, which is the Northeast. So North Philly, Northeast, then you got a line. Where is that line? Nobody really knows, but there's interesting things that happen in that section. Some properties look nice, some properties do not look nice, and then you got migration. So people who want to live in the nicer part of Philadelphia used to move this way, and then people are saying the people who are in Northeast are then moving somewhere else because everybody's moving this way, and it's just this whole circle, and everybody just moves all around, and the city is constantly changing. But the Northeast part of the city, which is all of that right there, that is where people used to want to be, and you can still find really nice houses there. It kind of looks like the suburbs of Philadelphia when you go that way, and people like that. So if you guys are looking for a more suburban look, check out the Northeast section of Philadelphia. I can tell you there's a lot of good and a lot of bad in terms of investing in Philadelphia. So I'm going to be doing my best to cover all of that, the pros and the cons of investing in Philly. All right, first off, let's talk about a pro and a con of Philadelphia. Take a look at this. This is me driving through West Philadelphia, and as you can see, there are a ton of properties for you to potentially invest in. There are hundreds, if not thousands of properties within a 1 mile radius. So that means there's plenty of opportunities for you to buy your next investment property. The downside, obviously, is that it snows. The weather is bad in Philadelphia from time to time. So maybe 4 months, 6 months out of the year, we experience snow, it's cold, and all of that stuff. So you have to make sure you shovel the pavements. You have to deal with cement not being able to dry, so you can only do exterior work during the warmer months. So those kind of things mess things up. And then also people could slip and fall in and around your property. So you have to be sure that you are diligent with your upkeep in terms of salting and shoveling and everything else. So pro, lots of properties, as you can see from this video, right? Every single property that you see here is a potential for you. You can actually buy one of these. You can, what some people do is what they call driving for dollars. They're doing exactly what I'm showing you guys here in this video. We're driving around and you're looking for properties that are vacant, that have high grass, that have mail piling up, that have broken windows, and you go out and you figure out who owns the property and you mail them a letter. So again, lots of opportunities here, and a lot of the owners here have lived here for a long time. So some of them are looking to move. There's a lot of action going on. A lot of people are moving, selling, buying. Money is moving, and anytime money is moving, then that is an opportunity for you to make some of that money. So Philadelphia, great because lots of opportunities. Also bad because the weather can be bad. All right, another really great pro about Philadelphia, it's really easy to design and configure these properties. Notice how this joist here is going left to right from side to side. That means that you can just blow out all of the walls in the house. So where those bricks are over there, those bricks used to have a wall that would separate the kitchen from the rest of the house. The reason I took this video is because I wanted you guys to see what a property would look like when it is under construction, and to show you guys all you have to do is blow out all of the walls in order to open it up completely. And then as you go down into the basement's the same way. It is just one big open box. Usually when you buy these older homes, they have all of the rooms sectioned off, kitchen, dining room. Then all you got to do is open it up. And basement's the same thing. Usually when we buy a property like this, all we do is clean this up real nice, and this way you have a nice place for storing your things. All right, as a bonus to these houses, a lot of times people put carpet over the hardwood floors, and what you find underneath the carpet, beautiful hardwood floors. All you have to do is refinish them and they look brand new. Here's that same room that we just showed you, but I have my guy redoing the floors. All he's doing is sanding off the top layer of the hardwood floors, and then he's going to polyurethane them, and they're going to glisten. They're going to be beautiful. So this is kind of like one of those hidden gems. There's going to be carpet underneath, or I'm sorry, there's going to be hardwood floor underneath carpet, and all you got to do is finish them, and it's going to look great. In terms of the configuration, I wanted you to take a look at this before and after transformation. So this is a property that I bought, and this is the before pictures. This is me standing in the living room, and that is the front door of the property. And as we go, I just turned around and I'm looking towards the dining room area, and then we're in the dining room area looking at the kitchen. You can peek into that door there, and here's the kitchen. And the after pictures are pretty incredible. It's almost like, is that the same property? Because it is. This is the same property. So all you got to do is blow out all the walls, and this is the property afterwards, right? That's that front door where we were, and that was that living room, and this is the dining room area that I was talking about, and then now we're standing in the kitchen. So it is wonderful what you can do to these properties. All you got to do is blow out all the walls and replace everything, and it looks great. Here's the bathroom, and then believe it or not, this is the basement. So you guys remember that video where I showed you guys the basement? So sometimes we clean those out, and sometimes we finish them, and when we finish them, this is what it looks like. It's really easy to do because all it is the 4 walls, and you just make it nice, and all of the houses are structured exactly the same. So in terms of design, Philadelphia is so easy to work with because it's like a bunch of cereal boxes all shaped the exact same way. So in order for your properties to look really nice, you're going to need people to do the work. What's interesting about Philadelphia, when you go to the Home Depots, you will see people sitting outside. You're like, why are they waiting around? Believe it or not, all of these people here, including everybody else in the parking lot, they are all waiting for you guys to pick them up so that they can do work for your property. These guys are used to doing demo and clean outs and painting and everything else, but they are all standing in front of this Home Depot just waiting for a job. So there are a ton of people to help you do the work in your property. Look, we all know that real estate can make you a whole bunch of money, but it's also a very complex process, especially when you apply the strategies that I teach you guys here at the Hoan Zone. And that's where Worldwide Land Transfer comes in. Today's video sponsor. I currently do all of my transactions through Worldwide Land Transfer. They handle everything from subject to deals to seller finance to probate to novations to hard money loans. They have even done my deals when I was on vacation. At Worldwide Land Transfer, their experienced agents have handled even my most complex transactions. So as part of this sponsorship, I had Worldwide Land Transfer agree to assign one of those experienced agents to handle our deals. So whatever crazy transaction you can negotiate, send it over and make sure you work with their experienced agent so that they can get the deal to the finish line. Check out hoanzone.com/WWLT for all of the details. Whether it's your primary residence or your next investment property, Worldwide Land Transfer has you covered. And now let's get back to the video. Another great benefit of investing in Philadelphia is that it actually cash flows. For being one of the top 6 cities in terms of population in the country, it's pretty cool that we actually are able to buy these properties in the thousands that actually cash flow and meet what they call the 1% rule. For those who don't know what the 1% rule is, that's when you take the purchase price of the property and you multiply it by 1%. If your rent amount that you can collect is that number or more, then you're in good shape. Now that's just a rule of thumb. You actually want to do all of your calculations, but to be real quick and easy, use the 1% rule to see whether this property is going to be a good rental property. Okay, this screen behind me is what's called the MLS. It is what real estate agents use to find properties for buyers and sellers and to know what they are priced at. So I did a quick search. This is a 5 or a half a mile radius, 0.5 miles around the zip code 19143, which is West Philadelphia. And I limited it to 3 bedrooms and I wanted to see what came up. So here you go, a whole bunch of properties come up and I'm just gonna pick one. Let's say this one here, $137,000. Okay, so we click this one. Just one picture. Let's try that again. Let's go previous one. Okay, so 27 pictures. 27 pictures. Let's take a look. So you can buy this one for $125,000 right now. It is active. So other than it having a bunch of stuff where people are, it's lived in, it's kind of junky, right? It is move-in ready. If you were to buy this property and have a tenant move out, you may want to adjust some things. You may want to paint the walls. You might want to clean the floors and fix anything that's broken. But here's a property that you can buy today for $125,000. Now, let's take a look at properties for rent and what they're renting for in the area. Remember, this one is selling for $125,000. Okay, so I did the same exact search. I did 3 bedrooms within a half a mile from 19143, but this is the rental comps, and these are the ones that actually closed, as you can see from the CLS here, meaning closed. This is actually what people paid. So you can see that there's $1,000, $1,250, $1,300, $1,300, $1,500, right? So you see how these numbers are breaking that 1% rule. The property that we were talking about was $125,000. If you take 1% of that, that's $1,250. So you can see a lot of these rents are beating the $1,250. So let's take a look at a property. Let's take a look at this one here, and let's look at the pictures. I mean, it's nice. It's cleaned out, right? But it's not extravagant by any means. They just put some vinyl down and made it nice. It's decent, and that's renting for $1,250. So let's see what this $1,300 gets you. Again, property's clean, nothing overly fancy. That's a builder's grade kitchen for a renter. Like you can see that cheap hood over the range there. It's a real small kitchen, and that rented for $1,300. So you guys see you can get pretty good rents. Let's see what a $1,650. I'm curious. What's $1,650 get you? Put in a couple bucks into the property. The bathroom looks good, but let's say you threw $20,000 to $30,000 into that property that was $125, and now you're at $150, $160, and your property looks like this, and you rent it out for $1,600. Again, you still hit that 1% rule. And guys, this is live. These are what actively closed. The other properties that I showed you, that property that you could buy for $125, that's available on the market right now for you to buy. So this 1% rule, this 1% idea, it exists in Philadelphia. You can't say that for a lot of the big cities all across the country, but Philadelphia, you can. With all those pros, there's even a bigger pro, and that is easy financing. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of action going on in Philadelphia. People are buying and selling properties constantly, so there's a lot of comps out there which can prove what your ARV is going to be, so that lenders feel really comfortable giving you the money. So you will be able to find the lending for your property so that you can go buy a bunch of properties. Also, because people are constantly moving in and out, and there's so many people, there's a lot of opportunity for you guys to be negotiating for creative financing being subject to or seller finance. I will go over those in a different video, but creative financing will allow you to buy property after property after property without using your own money. As I said earlier, I've used other people's money to do these deals, and the money sometimes even comes from the seller themselves. And if the seller isn't willing to give you creative financing, then you can also find a lot of private money lenders, hard money lenders, and banks that will give you lines of credit unsecured for you guys to go out there and buy these properties. Because there is so much action, there's a lot of service providers to help you in your real estate journey. There are property managers and contractors and title companies and real estate agents and brokerages that will help you every step of the way so that you can buy more properties. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And for all of the good that I just went over about Philadelphia, there is a lot of bad that you guys got to be mindful of as well. Here's an example of one of the bad. This is me standing at the front door of my property where the guys are digging up the sewer and water laterals. That is where the water and sewer connect to your house through your sidewalk. The main is approximately where this gentleman is standing right here, and you have to dig down about 4 foot, 6 foot, whatever it is, in order to access the pipes. We had to replace these pipes because they were collapsed, and that is just what happens when these pipes are 100 years old, which is the age of most of the Philadelphia houses, believe it or not. A lot of these houses were built in 1923. That one area in Germantown, some of these houses you can find built in the 1850s. So this old construction just means that you have a lot of old infrastructure that you're going to have to plan for. All right, another problem that we have to face is water mitigation. This is a French drain that I had to install in a basement because water was getting through via hydrostatic pressure, but this is just one of the ways that we can fix the problem, but it does cost a lot of money because you have to dig into the sidewalk, or I'm sorry, the basement, the concrete basement, and install a sump pump as well as the French drain with the corrugated pipe. All right, now let's talk about the worst part about investing in Philadelphia, and that is the government intervention. They are preventing a lot of different things, and they're making things a lot harder than they used to be. So Philadelphia was a fantastic place to invest in until the city started making things much harder for landlords. Some of those things are when it comes to screening your tenants. They are saying that you will not be able to pick your tenants based on whether the tenant has an eviction or not. Can you imagine having to pick from a pool of applicants and not being able to deny somebody because they have an eviction? The whole reason they have an eviction is because they screwed some other landlord over, and now you're telling me that I can't deny somebody because they screwed somebody else over. Like, that's pretty tough. Something else that Philadelphia made really tough was that the fact that you have to get construction drawings for all of the work that's being done. It used to be where you can just get a permit if it was something simple, and if it was more complex, then yes, you need to get a drawing. But now they want a drawing for everything. And what that does is it adds time and it adds money to your project. If you're a short-term rental kind of investor, you are not safe here in Philadelphia. Philadelphia recently mandated that you get a special license to allow you to do short-term rentals. So if you're looking to do Airbnb or VRBO here in Philadelphia, you're going to need to get a special license for particular properties in order to be able to do the short-term rentals, which is going to cost you thousands of dollars and may actually not even be allowed in the property that you buy. Another thing that Philadelphia recently did, whether you think it's right or wrong, is they implemented a lead policy where you have to get a lead test every 4 years. It used to be if you got your property lead tested once, you were good. Now Philadelphia is requiring you to get a lead test every 4 years. Also, if you don't get that lead test and upload it to the portal, then you won't be able to get your rental license. So imagine if your tenant says, hey, you can't come into the property, and then you can't get your lead test, then you can't get your rental license, which then makes you uncompliant or incompliant to the policy of Philadelphia. And so if you try to do an eviction, but you don't have a rental license because you didn't get your lead test because your tenant didn't let your lead tester come in, then you're screwed as a landlord. And where's the sympathy in Philadelphia? They have none. Which takes me to my next point, evictions. They recently rolled out this thing called an eviction diversion program. It's where if the tenant's not paying and you try to evict, you have to go through this like arbitration, mediation, eviction diversion program before you can actually go through eviction. And all that does is add a couple of months to the process of evicting a tenant who already isn't paying rent. So they get a couple of more months for free simply because Philadelphia is mandating that you do or go through this eviction diversion program. You guys see how it's not looking too good for us landlords here in Philadelphia? After all of that, after everything I just mentioned, the cherry on top, Philadelphia is trying to roll out a rent control program. That is where you can't raise your rents beyond this certain threshold, no matter how long the tenant has stayed there, no matter what the market rent is. If your property is at $800 and all of the market rents in the area are say $1,200, $1,500, whatever, you may not be able to adjust your rent to the market until the tenant moves out. So think about it as a landlord. You buy a property, you put the tenant in there. Now you're kind of stuck at that price. You can maybe do incremental increases, but that's about it. So you know what's going to happen in the short term, I think? All rents across the board are going to rocket ship to the moon because landlords are going to be preparing for not being able to raise rents. It's often said that the laws that are put in place to protect the people actually hurt those very same people. I remember a few years ago when the city of Philadelphia said that they wanted to implement a sugar tax. So if you were buying a sugary beverage, then you're going to have to pay this extra tax. And I mean, it was a big deal. It was a lot more money per drink. And they said that the money was going to go to the kids. Of course it was going to go to the kids, right? It was going to go to the kids so that they can buy school books and computers and all that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? The kids didn't get any of the money. And all that happened was everybody had to just pay more in grocery bills. Who were they helping with the tax? I don't know. Congratulations, guys. You got to the end of the video. I know I packed a lot of information in this video, but it is designed to be a reference guide for you guys trying to invest in Philadelphia. I have a lot of students outside of Philadelphia who want to invest in Philadelphia, and so I figured I put a video out there for all of you guys who are interested in investing in Philadelphia as well. A lot of my students reach out and they've joined my coaching program so that I can help them with referrals and references as they're trying to build their real estate portfolio in Philadelphia. By allowing me to help you guys, I'm able to make sure that you guys are hiring the right people, investing in the right properties, and looking in the right neighborhoods so that you guys don't get in trouble. Investing in real estate in Philadelphia can make you a lot of money if you do it right. But if you do it wrong, then bad things can happen. So make sure if you're interested in investing in Philadelphia, you reach out to me and get involved with my coaching program so that I can help guide you step by step so that you can build a bigger, more profitable portfolio. If you guys are interested in working with me in my coaching program so that I can guide you step by step, just email me at letsmultiply@hoanzone.com. And of course, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe so that you guys can see future videos as I release them to make you guys better real estate investors. All right, that's it, everybody. I'm Hoan. Let's multiply.